Hey guys, it's Kate and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you should definitely subscribe and stick around for future videos. So if you are new here, I have a rare disease called Friedreich's ataxia, or FA, that has progressively caused me to lose my balance and coordination. If you want to read more about FA, you can go to my website, makeithappencurefa.com. The link will be in the description. So because of FA, I'm in a wheelchair full time. So I'm also a senior this year, if you didn't know. And let me tell you, this year is a hard year to be a senior. A major part of being a senior is figuring out what comes next for you. For me, I am planning on going to college. It can be really hard to find colleges if you have a disability, because you want to make sure that you're in a comfortable and accommodating environment, but you're also getting a good education while you're there. So before I get into anything, this video is not about academic accommodations or people taking notes for you or typing in class, anything like that. This is strictly about the environment of the campus. The academic accommodations is a whole nother video, and if you guys want me to go into that, I will. But for now, we're just going to talk about the campus itself. So I know that this year is hard, but if you're in any other year and you're watching this in the future, hi! We can't visit campuses here in 2021. Maybe you can visit campuses now, but we can't in 2021 because there's a pandemic. It is really, really important, especially if you're in a wheelchair, to see the campus in person if at all possible. I highly encourage you to visit. You don't even have to take an official tour, just go by yourself and just go through the campus and just see how it works. If you do visit the campus in person, here are some things to look out for. Number 1, accessible entrances and buildings. Every building has to have an accessible entrance, or it should have one, but mainly what I'm telling you to look out for is how far apart is it from the main entrance? Is it separate from the main entrance? Is it all the way around the back of the building? Are the accessible entrances inconvenient wherever they are? Number 2, elevators. Again, elevators are something that should be in most college buildings, but that's just something to double check. Is that make sure there are elevators if there is an upstairs level in a building. Figure out where those elevators are and if you can access them easily. And are they public elevators, or are they private elevators, meaning you have to go through someone's office and have a key and do that whole thing? Or are they public and easy to get to? This is something that I actually watch out for a lot on college campuses, and anybody that is able-bodied wouldn't even think about this. But if you're in a wheelchair, number 3 is buttons on doors. The button on the door that you can press that it will open so you can go in, those buttons are a lifesaver. I really wanted them on my college campus because I think they're so convenient and it makes everything 10 times easier. Unfortunately, automatic door buttons are not super duper common, but if you go looking for them, they're on a lot of buildings on college campuses. So I would say definitely watch out for those, see if there's a lot of them or just a couple or not any at all, because they can make your life so much easier. Number 4 is sidewalks. So if you're in a wheelchair, you know that if a sidewalk is rough, you're gonna face death that day. So it is very important when you are on a college campus that you feel comfortable on that sidewalks. Are there bumps in the sidewalk? Are there cracks everywhere? Or is it smooth? Is it new concrete? Or is it updated concrete? If there's stairs in the sidewalk, something to look out for is make sure that there's also a ramp somewhere. Sometimes it'll be off to the side or right next to the stairs, but just make sure it's there. It should be, but always make sure that it's there, because you don't want to have to go around the entire planet to get to a class because there's not a ramp where there are stairs. Okay, number 5 is accessible bathrooms. So in the public buildings, are there accessible bathrooms? There should be, but are they big enough? Are they up to code? Meaning, is it just a bar screwed into the wall and they just called it a day? Or is it actually an accessible stall? Is it big enough? Are the bars dirty? Just make sure there are accessible bathrooms in buildings, because sometimes, as much as this sucks, there's not. So that is just something to keep an eye out. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is dorms. So a lot of schools require freshmen to live on campus their first year. All schools have accessible dorms, but obviously some are going to be more accessible than others. Here's what to look for in your dorms. Number 1, are the rooms big enough for you, all your equipment that you have with you, and for you to maneuver around? Can you spin all the way around in the room and get wherever you need to get in the room, or is it too small? Number 2, this is something to think about, and I didn't think about this until I started looking at college housing, and then I was like, oh, that's kind of important. Is the furniture movable? You know that sometimes furniture is set up too close to each other and you can't get through and whatever. You just need to check, if you are in a wheelchair, that the furniture in your room is movable so you can move it out of your way or whatever you need to do with it. That way you can get through easily. Number 3, are there cutouts in the desk and under the sinks so that you can put your chair under the desk or under the sink? Number 4, is there a stable shower chair? A lot of places, especially in hotels, don't have a shower chair, or the shower chair that's there is very unstable. And so some people bring their own to college, but if you are one of the ones that wants to use the bench that is installed in the shower, I am begging you, please make sure it is stable before you sit on it and take a shower with it, because you don't want to fall in the middle of the shower and not be able to get back up. So make sure that the shower chair is stable. Number 5, check and see if the bed is height adjustable. So in college dorms, you've seen all the pictures of the cute beds that are 1,000,000 feet tall and like little bunk beds. They may be cute, but they're extremely difficult to get in if you're in a wheelchair. Or even like I've seen videos on TikTok of able-bodied people trying to get in it, and apparently it's hard for everybody. So it's important to make sure that the bed is height adjustable. That way you can put it down to your level and it's easier to transfer into. Number 6 is, are there enough bars in the bathroom, in the shower, next to the toilet to accommodate you? Do you need to add extra bars? Do you need to make sure this one is more sturdy? Or is everything good? Just, that's something to look out for, is, are there enough bars? Are they in the right places? Do you have them where you need them? That kind of thing. Number 7 is, can you add anything in that you need that's not already there? So like for me, that would be like a super pole that I use in my bathroom. Can I put that in my dorm if I need it? And that just depends on your college, and that's something you have to ask them. Normally they will let you, but that's just something to ask about, because if you need something there for extra support, you should be able to have it. Next thing to consider is a disability office. So every college has a disability office, but some offices are more accommodating than others, obviously. So here are some things to ask yourself before you jump into 4 years of college with the disability offices you don't like. Are the people in the office accommodating and willing to listen to your concern? Will they work with you to find a solution if there's an issue, or are they just gonna brush you off? A lot of disability offices will do this and some will not. But this is just something to ask. Will they move a class if you can't get to it? Let's say you have a psychology class on the 5th floor of the building and there's not an elevator for some reason. Will they move that class so that you can still take it? Or are they gonna try to put you in a different class that's at a different time and it's inconvenient and whatever? Or are they gonna move the one that works for you? Are they willing to go beyond what is required by law? Like I said, this is kind of what I mentioned earlier. Are they willing to work with you to find a solution? Are they willing to go beyond what they're just required to do? Last thing is some general questions, just things to think about before you commit to a college. are there other people on campus that are in wheelchairs? This is not important to some people. It's really important to others. It totally depends on you. For me, it's somewhat important, but it's not super important. I didn't want to be the only one in a wheelchair, but I also didn't want to be surrounded by everybody in a wheelchair. So you can talk to the disability office about that. They usually know how many students they have in chairs or with any sort of disability. Next thing, and this is super important, is do you feel comfortable there? Because if you don't feel comfortable from the minute you get there, I can promise you, you don't want to spend 4 years of your life there. And it's worth visiting a million different campuses if you have to find one where you are comfortable. So it's important to look out for things and you're like, I don't really like that there's not any buttons on the doors, so I don't really know. It's okay to be uncomfortable with that. It's okay to keep looking. You don't have to commit to a school just because you feel like you have to. Last thing is, do you have some sort of support system there? That doesn't mean that all your best friends have to go to that college. That doesn't mean that it has to be in the same time with your family. Some people just like having a support system, and so I think that that is something to consider. Is do you know at least one person there? That way, if something happens on the first day of school and you don't know anybody yet, could you call that person? That's just something to think about. I don't think it should hinder your dreams of going to a faraway school where you don't know anybody, but I just think it's something to think about. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video and maybe it helped you and maybe you learned something. If you are in a wheelchair and you're looking into colleges, it can be difficult, but you're gonna get there, I promise. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Follow my social medias and links below, and comment down below if you have any video ideas that you want me to do in the new year. I'm so excited to be out of 2020. It feels great. And so let me know if you have any videos that you want to see this year, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Is there something after there's nothing to say? We're just moving.